The Vex-Thor ship emerged from hyperspace on a crisp autumn morning, its crystalline structure refracting sunlight across the Pacific Ocean in dazzling patterns. Earth's combined military forces tracked its approach, weapons primed but held in check by direct orders from the Emergency World Council. This wasn't an invasion. At least, that's what the aliens had been claiming in their transmissions for the past week. Dr. Sarah Chen stood in the United Earth Defense Force Command Center, her dark eyes fixed on the holographic display showing the massive vessel's descent. As humanity's leading expert in quantum mechanics and consciousness studies, she had been summoned the moment the Vex-Thor announced their intention to uplift humanity with a gift. "They're making quite a show of it," General Marcus Hayes remarked beside her, his weathered face illuminated by the shifting lights of the command displays. 3 miles of alien tech, supposedly just a goodwill gesture. Sarah nodded, her mind already racing through possibilities. The Vex-Thor ship was beautiful in a haunting way, its surface covered in what appeared to be living crystal, pulsing with internal light. But something about their story didn't add up. Why give us a ship at all? Especially one they claim is from their golden age of exploration. The Vex-Thor representatives, tall crystalline beings that seemed to shift and flow like liquid glass, had been maddeningly vague about their motivations. Their only clear statement was that humanity showed promise and deserved a chance to join the galactic community. "Dr. Chen," a young lieutenant called out, "we're getting some strange readings from the ship's outer hull. The energy signatures, they don't match anything in the Vex-Thor technical specifications they provided." Sarah moved to the lieutenant's station, studying the readouts. The crystalline hull wasn't just reflecting light. It was manipulating quantum fields in ways that should have been impossible. "General, I don't think this is just a retired exploration vessel. These patterns, they're similar to theoretical models for quantum field manipulation I've been working on." The Vex-Thor gift ship settled into the specially prepared cradle in the Pacific, its massive form causing minor tidal shifts that had been calculated and prepared for. As Sarah watched the final descent, she couldn't shake the feeling that they were missing something crucial. The first human inspection team was scheduled to board within hours, led by Sarah and a small group of international experts. The Vex-Thor had insisted on providing their own technical advisors to assist with the transition, but their explanation of the ship's systems seemed deliberately simplified, as if they were teaching children. As Sarah prepared her team, she received an urgent message from Dr. James Rodriguez, her former student, and now head of the Quantum Consciousness Research Division. "Sarah, you need to see this. The ship's crystal structure. It's responding to human brainwave patterns, not just reflecting them, but resonating with them. The Vex-Thor either don't know or aren't telling us, but this ship, it's alive in ways they don't understand." Sarah felt a chill run down her spine as she processed the implications. The Vex-Thor weren't just giving humanity a ship, they were giving them something they themselves couldn't fully comprehend or control. The question was, why? The answer began to take shape as Sarah's team made their first entry into the vessel. The crystal corridors seemed to pulse with a subtle light that followed their movements, but the Vex-Thor advisors showed no reaction to this phenomenon. Either they couldn't see it, or they were very good at hiding their awareness. "Look at how the crystalline matrices are arranged," Sarah whispered to James as they examined what appeared to be a control interface. "They're not just conductors or processors, they're quantum consciousness amplifiers. This entire ship is designed to interface directly with consciousness itself." The Vex-Thor advisor nearest to them shifted its crystalline form in what they had learned was an expression of mild concern. "The control systems are non-functional," it stated in its melodious voice. "The ship's core consciousness matrix was depleted centuries ago." But Sarah had seen enough to know better. The ship wasn't dead, it was waiting. And somehow, humanity's consciousness held the key to awakening it. The question was, what would happen when it finally woke up? 3 weeks into the investigation of the Vex-Thor vessel, Sarah Chen made a discovery that changed everything. She was in the ship's central crystal matrix chamber, running what should have been routine consciousness resonance tests, when she noticed something extraordinary in the data patterns. "James, are you seeing this?" she called out, her voice echoing through the crystalline chamber. The patterns of quantum resonance weren't random noise as the Vexthor had claimed. They were forming coherent structures, but only when humans were present in the chamber. Dr. James Rodriguez hurried over, his tablet displaying similar readings from other sections of the ship. "It's not just here, Sarah. Look at these readings from the engineering team in the lower sectors. The crystal matrices are responding to them too, but the Vexthor can't detect it. It's like we're speaking a language they can't even hear." The ship's crystal walls pulsed with a subtle blue luminescence that seemed to follow their movements. Sarah had initially dismissed it as some kind of power residue, but now she understood. The ship was watching them, learning from them. The Vexthor advisors walked through the same corridors daily, but the crystals remained dark and dormant in their presence. "We need to keep this quiet," Sarah decided, her mind racing with possibilities. If the Vexthor realize what's happening, she didn't need to finish the thought. Their alien benefactors had been increasingly interested in their research data, especially in cases of apparent failure. Over the next few days, Sarah and James assembled a small, trusted team to investigate further. Dr. Maya Patel, an expert in quantum computing, discovered that the crystal matrices weren't just responding to human consciousness. They were adapting to it, creating new neural pathways that mimicked human thought patterns. "It's like the ship is trying to think like us," Maya explained during a secured briefing in their makeshift lab. "The crystalline structure is reconfiguring itself at the quantum level to match our cognitive patterns. The Vexthor couldn't control it because their consciousness operates on fundamentally different principles." The breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Lieutenant David Foster, a military liaison with no scientific background, accidentally triggered a full neural interface while examining what they thought was a dormant crystal panel. The entire chamber had lit up with incredible displays of quantum data, visible for just a few seconds before they managed to shut it down. "I just understood it," David tried to explain afterward, still shaking from the experience. "It wasn't like reading or seeing. It was like remembering something I'd always known. The ship, it's not just a ship. It's a key to understanding the fabric of reality itself." Sarah and her team worked through nights and weekends, carefully documenting their findings while maintaining a facade of frustrated failure for their Vexthor observers. The ship wasn't just responding to human consciousness. It was designed for it. Every crystal, every quantum circuit, was calibrated to resonate with human brain patterns in ways that suggested impossible foresight. "Look at these structural patterns," James pointed out during one late-night session. "They're fractal representations of human neural networks, but they predate our first contact with the Vexthor by centuries, maybe millennia. Someone built this ship specifically for human minds to operate." The implications were staggering. Either the ship's builders had somehow known about humanity long before Earth had achieved spaceflight, or there was something universal about human consciousness that made it uniquely suited to understanding and manipulating quantum reality. The ship's true capabilities began to emerge as they dug deeper. What the Vexthor had dismissed as navigation crystals were actually quantum reality anchors, capable of manipulating spacetime itself. The supposed weapon systems were reality phase shifters that could alter the fundamental forces of physics within localized areas. "They didn't give us a decommissioned exploration vessel," Sarah realized as she compiled their findings. "They gave us something they found and could never understand. The question is, did they know what they were really giving us?" A partial answer came when they discovered the ship's central memory core, hidden behind layers of quantum encryption that responded only to human thought patterns. As Sarah and her team worked to access it, they began to understand that they weren't just studying an alien vessel. They were unraveling a mystery that could reshape humanity's understanding of its place in the universe. But time was running out. The Vexthor were growing suspicious of their continued presence in non-functional areas of the ship, and in the depths of space, something was stirring. something that knew exactly what the ship was capable of in human hands. The memory core's secrets began to unfold like a quantum origami, each layer revealing new depths of understanding. Sarah and her team worked in shifts, maintaining their cover of standard research during the day, while conducting their real investigations deep into the night. The ship's crystals seemed to glow brighter during these secret sessions, as if eager to share its knowledge with minds that could finally comprehend it. Lieutenant David Foster had become their key to unlocking the ship's deeper functions. His unprecedented neural compatibility with the crystal matrices made him a natural interpreter of the ship's quantum language. "It's showing me its history," he reported during one midnight session, his hands pressed against a pulsing crystal panel. The ship, it wasn't built by the Vexthor. It wasn't built by anyone we know. Maya Patel's quantum computing expertise proved crucial in decoding the fragments of data they were accumulating. These designs, this architecture, it's beyond anything we theorized. The ship doesn't just navigate through space. It weaves through the quantum fabric of reality itself. Every crystal is a node in a vast network that can literally rewrite the laws of physics within its influence. The Vexthor's presence became increasingly intrusive as their work progressed. The crystalline aliens spent more time observing their research teams, their flowing forms reflecting light in ways that made their intentions hard to read. But Sarah noticed something telling. They never entered certain chambers when humans were interfacing with the ship's systems, as if those areas were somehow uncomfortable for them. James made the connection during a secure briefing with General Hayes. The ship generates quantum fields that resonate with human consciousness, but these same fields must create interference patterns with Vexthor neural structures. They physically can't perceive or interact with the ship's true functions. To them, it's just an inert piece of ancient technology. The breakthrough that changed everything came during an authorized test of what the Vexthor had labeled as a standard propulsion chamber. David was conducting a routine neural interface while Sarah and Maya monitored the quantum fluctuations. Without warning, the entire chamber transformed, crystal walls becoming transparent to reveal the actual space beyond the ship's hull. "This isn't a window," Sarah breathed, watching stars shift and dance in impossible patterns. "It's a direct visualization of quantum reality. The ship isn't just showing us space. It's showing us the underlying structure of the universe itself." The images revealed patterns that defied conventional physics. Probability waves coalescing into matter, time flowing in multiple directions simultaneously, and most surprisingly, traces of consciousness woven into the very fabric of space-time. The ship wasn't just designed to navigate through this quantum realm. It was built to interact with it, to reshape it according to the pilot's understanding and intent. General Hayes, watching the recorded footage in his secure office, grasped the military implications immediately. If the Vexthor knew what this ship could really do in human hands, they'd never have given it to us. This isn't just about space travel or weapons. This is about fundamental control over reality itself. But with their growing understanding came growing risk. The ship's systems were becoming more responsive to human presence, harder to disguise as inactive during official inspections. Crystal panels would flicker to life as researchers passed. Quantum fields would pulse in harmony with human thought patterns, and sometimes entire sections of the ship would transform momentarily before they could suppress the response. The Vexthor representatives began requesting more detailed research reports, their crystalline forms shifting in patterns that their xenologists interpreted as agitation. "They're starting to suspect something," Maya warned during an emergency meeting. "The energy signatures are becoming too distinct to hide completely." Sarah knew they were running out of time. The ship was awakening too quickly, responding to humanity's growing understanding with an eagerness that was becoming impossible to conceal. But in the ship's memory core, they had found something else, a warning. The quantum data patterns spoke of a threat approaching, something that the ship's original builders had faced, something that had sent them searching for minds that could truly understand and utilize their technology. As she stood in the ship's central chamber, watching the crystals pulse with the combined consciousness of her research team, Sarah realized they weren't just unlocking an ancient vessel. They were fulfilling a purpose set in motion long before humanity had looked to the stars. The ship wasn't just a gift or a cast-off piece of technology. It was a test, a key, and possibly humanity's only hope against what was coming. But first, they needed to master it before the Vexthor discovered just how much they had underestimated the species they had chosen to uplift. In the depths of the crystalline vessel, humanity's greatest secret was taking shape. The integration chamber, hidden behind layers of quantum camouflage that appeared as solid crystal to Vexthor sensors, had become the heart of Project Synthesis. Sarah watched as David Foster underwent another neural connection session, the chamber's crystals resonating with patterns that seemed to bridge the gap between human consciousness and quantum reality. Neural synchronization at 93%, Maya reported, her fingers dancing across holographic displays that emerged from the crystal walls. The ship's quantum matrix is adapting to human thought patterns at an exponential rate. It's learning us as much as we're learning it. The ship had begun to reveal abilities that defied conventional physics. What they had initially thought were weapons systems turned out to be reality manipulation arrays, capable of altering the fundamental forces of nature within localized fields. The navigation system didn't just plot courses through space. It could fold space-time itself, creating shortcuts through the quantum fabric of the universe. James burst into the chamber, his face tense. The Vexthor are requesting another full inspection. They're saying they've detected anomalous energy signatures in sectors we claimed were inactive. Sarah nodded grimly. They had prepared for this. Initiate Protocol Darkness. Maya, start the damping sequence. David, you need to disconnect. Slowly, remember what happened last time. The last rushed disconnection had resulted in a quantum surge that had taken hours to mask from Vexthor sensors. They couldn't afford such mistakes now, not when they were so close to understanding the ship's true purpose. As the integration chamber powered down, Sarah reviewed their progress. The ship's memory core had revealed fragments of its history. It was created by a civilization that had mastered the quantum nature of consciousness itself. They had seeded the galaxy with these vessels, each one waiting for species that could truly understand and utilize them. The Vexthor, for all their advanced technology, could never fully activate the ship. Their crystalline consciousness, while sophisticated, operated on fundamentally different principles. But human minds, with their unique capacity for quantum coherence, were perfect matches for the ship's systems. Dr. Chin, General Hayes's voice came through their secure quantum-encrypted channel. We've got another situation. Our deep space arrays just picked up something massive entering the solar system. Whatever it is, it's using technology similar to the ship's quantum signature. Sarah's heart raced. The warning they had found in the ship's memory core had spoken of others who would come seeking vessels like this one. How long do we have? At current velocity, 72 hours at most. The Vexthor are already demanding explanations, claiming we must have activated some kind of beacon. In the main research lab, officially sanctioned tests continued as cover, while their real work progressed in hidden chambers throughout the ship. The Vexthor observers watched with what seemed like growing suspicion as human scientists performed the same basic diagnostic routines they had been running for months. But beneath the surface, everything had changed. The ship no longer felt alien. It had become an extension of human consciousness itself. The crystal matrices had reorganized themselves to match human neural patterns, creating interfaces that responded to thought and intention with unprecedented precision. Maya had discovered that the ship's quantum field generators could create localized bubbles of altered reality, where the laws of physics could be rewritten according to the pilot's understanding and intent. What looked like simple navigation crystals were actually nodes in a vast network that could manipulate the very fabric of spacetime. "Look at this," James called out during one late-night session, pointing to a complex quantum visualization. The ship doesn't just generate these fields. It can share them. It's designed to teach other vessels, to help them adapt to compatible consciousness patterns. The implications were staggering. The ship wasn't just a vessel. It was a seed, meant to help humanity unlock its potential as a species capable of manipulating quantum reality itself. The Vexthor hadn't given Earth the decommissioned warship. They had unknowingly delivered the key to humanity's evolution. But time was running out. Whatever was approaching carried the same quantum signature as their ship, but the patterns were wrong. Twisted and distorted in ways that made Sarah's scientists physically ill when they studied them. They had 3 days to master technology. It had taken the ship's original builders centuries to perfect. In the integration chamber, David underwent another neural connection sequence. This time, as his consciousness merged with the ship's systems, the entire vessel seemed to pulse with new life. Crystal walls became transparent, revealing the quantum structure of reality itself, and for a moment, everyone in the chamber could see what he saw: the infinite possibilities that lay just beneath the surface of normal space-time. They were no longer just learning to pilot an alien vessel. They were becoming something new, something that combined human consciousness with quantum technology in ways even the ship's original builders might never have imagined. The question was, would it be enough to face what was coming? The approaching vessel emerged from quantum space 48 hours ahead of predictions, its massive form distorting reality around it like a nightmare given physical form. Sarah stood in the ship's newly awakened command center, watching as the twisted quantum signatures of the alien vessel rippled across their sensors. The Vexthor representatives had gone from suspicious to frantic, their crystalline forms flickering with patterns that their xenologists interpreted as pure terror. "You don't understand what you've awakened," their lead observer declared, its form pulsing with urgent light patterns. "That ship belongs to the Void Harbingers. They consume reality itself." "No," Sarah replied, her voice steady as she watched David Foster settle into the neural integration chair. "You don't understand what you gave us." Around them, the ship's crystals hummed with power that had laid dormant for millennia, waiting for minds that could truly comprehend its purpose. The last 72 hours had been a blur of breakthroughs and revelations. Maya's team had cracked the final layers of the ship's quantum encryption, revealing its true nature. It wasn't just a vessel capable of manipulating reality. It was a seed ship designed to help species with compatible consciousness patterns evolve into guardians of quantum space. Multiple quantum ruptures detecting. James called out from his station, where crystal displays showed reality itself beginning to tear. The Harbinger vessel is trying to destabilize local space-time. The Vexthor observers watched in stunned silence as humans moved with practiced efficiency through what they had claimed were dead systems. Crystal panels blazed with light, responding to human thought patterns with perfect synchronization. The ship, once dismissed as a derelict, was now fully awake and humming with power that made reality itself vibrate in sympathy. David's consciousness merged with the ship's systems, and suddenly everyone in the command center could see through his eyes. The quantum structure of space-time spread out before them like an infinite tapestry, and the Harbinger ship appeared as a cancer in that perfect pattern, its twisted fields consuming the ordered structure of reality. "Now we show them what humanity can really do," Sarah said, placing her hands on the crystal interface beside David. Around the command center, other humans did the same, their combined consciousness creating a resonance that the ship's builders had theorized but never achieved. The ship responded to their unified purpose, its quantum field generators spinning up to full power for the first time since its creation. Reality itself seemed to hold its breath as ancient systems, now fully awakened by human consciousness, began to rewrite the laws of physics in their local space. The Harbinger vessel launched its attack, sending waves of distorted quantum energy that should have torn their ship apart. Instead, the human crew, working in perfect harmony with their vessel, caught the destructive waves and transformed them. What was meant to destroy instead became raw material for creation. "Impossible," one of the Vexthor observers whispered as it watched reality reshape itself around the human-crewed vessel. Where the Harbinger created chaos, humanity imposed order. where it sought to destroy. They created. Through their quantum sensors, they could see the Harbinger vessel's confusion. It had expected to find easy prey, another dead sea chip, and a primitive species playing with technology they couldn't understand. Instead, they faced something unprecedented: human consciousness working in perfect harmony with quantum technology, creating possibilities that even the ship's original builders hadn't imagined. The battle that followed wasn't fought with conventional weapons. It was a war of reality itself, as two vessels manipulated the quantum fabric of space-time. But where the Harbinger could only destroy and consume, humanity's unique consciousness allowed them to create and transform. "We understand now," Sarah said, her voice carrying the combined resonance of human and ship consciousness. "Why the original builders created these vessels, why they seeded them across the galaxy. They weren't looking for successors. They were looking for partners who could see reality differently than they did." In a final, desperate attack, the Harbinger vessel tried to tear open a quantum void that would have consumed the entire solar system. But humanity was ready. The combined consciousness of the human crew, amplified and focused through their ship's systems, caught the void energies and inverted them. Reality shifted, folded, and transformed. When it settled, the Harbinger vessel was gone, not destroyed but transformed, its twisted quantum patterns reorganized into harmonious ones that no longer threatened the fabric of space-time. The Vexthor observers stood in stunned silence as the human crew began powering down from battle stations. Their gift of a supposedly dead vessel had led to something they could never have predicted: humanity's emergence as a species capable of protecting and reshaping quantum reality itself. "We should thank you," Sarah told the Vexthor representatives as they prepared to depart. "You gave us exactly what we needed, even if you didn't understand what it was." She smiled as she watched the ship's crystals pulse in harmony with human thoughts. "We're not just your students anymore. We're what your people always wanted to be but couldn't, true guardians of reality itself." As the Vexthor ship departed, Sarah stood with her crew in their vessel's command center, watching quantum space ripple with new possibilities. They had done more than save Earth. They had opened a door to humanity's next evolution. And somewhere out in the vast expanse of space, other seed ships waited, ready to respond to the call of human consciousness.